It is Tuesday here, Tahoe week. What are you laughing at?
The T in Taylor stands for Tahoe.
Does it really?
Yes.
The T in Taylor stands for Tahoe. Listen, I'm pretty certain that Taylor, although tired because his flight was delayed last night, we'll get to that in a minute, Taylor's in heaven. Taylor is in heaven. He has been here in Lake Tahoe. And by the way, we're at the Edgewood Tahoe Resort. We're at the Edgewood Golf Course. It is beautiful. We're on the driving range as we've been the last several years here for the American Century Celebrity Golf Championship. It's a great week. It's a great weekend. It's a great venue. Taylor, I am pretty certain that you're in heaven right now.
1,000%. I'm like a kid in a candy shop.
All right.
Lake Tahoe
Yes.
is buzzing.
Right.
Dan Patrick was just holding court
Yes.
for about 30 minutes on
Yeah.
the driving range with David Wells.
Yeah, it was 28 minutes too long, if I'm being honest. At one point, Dan Patrick started telling David Wells what he was telling Terry Francona the entire season. I don't know what season it was, but there was something Dan Patrick was telling Terry Francona, to do the entire season, and he felt the need to explain that to David Wells. But Taylor's in heaven because David Wells was standing 15 feet away from him, and Taylor is a monster Yankees fan.
This is what Lake Tahoe is all about.
It is, right? What else happened to you?
I saw Ray Allen at CVS this morning.
That is what Tahoe Week
Yes.
is all about. You walk into a CVS, Lake Tahoe, and by the way, I need to go to the CVS later, but you walk into a CVS, and who is walking down the aisle as you're walking one way down the aisle? Who's coming the other way? Ray Allen. And that's what Tahoe Week is all about. We saw Chris Harrison on the driving range.
Yes. Rose or nose later.
Oh, really? Did you ask him?
No, not yet. And I didn't book Ray Allen.
Right.
Ray Allen was getting Perrier, and I walked by him and I said, I'm more of a Pellegrino guy. And that was the entire interaction we had.
Okay. You saw Vrabel.
I saw Vrabel.
Yeah. Said hello to Vrabel.
Yeah, so I'm technically a Patriot fan this season because my roommate at Carolina was Mac Hollins.
Yeah.
And Mac has kind of given me permission this week to name drop him as much as possible to get guests. He said, if you have to tell people you're my brother, we kind of look alike, the racially ambiguous look. Mac told me, hey, name drop me as much as possible. So I saw Vrabel. I went up to him immediately and I said, hey, Mac Hollins is my best friend. And Vrabel said, Mac Hollins, great guy.
Okay, but what happened after that? Did you ask Vrabel to come on the show? I mean...
I did not. But
So you use Mac Hollins just to say hello to Mike Vrabel? You're supposed to use Mac Hollins to get these guys on the show. And by the way, by extension, do I get to walk around saying I'm also Mac Hollins' brother?
I don't trust you as much with that.
Okay. Well, I mean, you're batting zero right now, man.
But sometimes you have to set up the guest before the ask. So that's what I was kind of doing. I've kind of learned that from
the
you.
laying of groundwork.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Is that what you did?
Yes.
So you just said hi. You established that you and Mike Vrabel have a mutual friend.
Yes.
That's what you've established.
So the next time Vrabel sees me, he's going to be like, oh, that's Mac Hollins' roommate from college, a fellow college football player, something I have in common with him. And then it makes the ask a lot easier instead of going up and being like, hey, I have to explain all this. And then, hey, come on the show too.
Right. So we've seen Chris Harrison, Mike Vrabel, Dan Patrick, Paul Pabst, his executive producer. Dan Patrick going to be on the show tomorrow because we need to do weekend observations, and I need a Dan. And is there a better Dan than Dan Patrick?
No.
Well, I mean, you could have said someone.
I can only think Dan
answer.
Patrick.
Right.
Look at it. Look at his setup over there.
It's amazing. So I said to Dan, Dan, you took up the entire right side of the driving range here because we've been coming here for years, and there were times when we came out here, it was just us at 610 in Kansas City. And they're still here, Kansas City. We were the only two stations out here. It was our show, me and Mike Ryan. We brought different crews out every single year. This year it's Taylor. And 610 in Kansas City because I think Mahomes and Kelce are here. So they started coming out here. And incidentally, I just heard them say it's time to talk Royals baseball.
Oh, it's a big one tonight.
And so what's interesting about how this really event and this tournament has grown is the fact that now you have Barstool here. Now you have the Dan Patrick show here. Dan Patrick carries so much weight. He has so much credibility. He's a Hall of Famer. He's great that he has taken all the spots that we used to have on the right side of the fairway. They're now his. He owns them. He kicked us the fuck out, okay? And I asked him, I said, Dan, what are you doing? I mean, Been coming here for 6 or 7 years. And he said, I'm Dan fucking Patrick. And I said, you know what? You are Dan fucking Patrick. That's what Tahoe Week is all about.
Dan Patrick, sneaky tall. That was my one observation.
Sneaky tall, yeah.
From you going up and talking to him.
Yeah, I mean, 30 minutes with Wells. You think Wells is thinking to himself, by the way, Wells is practicing his short game right now. There's no guest Taylor wants on more than David Wells. Go try your Mac Hollins out on David Wells. He'll be like, who the fuck is that?
I do have I was wondering what your dream guest list is this week. Because,
Josh Allen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mine is basically, did you play for the Yankees in the late 90s, early 2000s?
Right.
So I want you on. So I was looking at the confirmed list of people. It's Roger Clemens, it's David Wells, it's Gary Sheffield. Those would be my big three, I would say.
You can get David Wells right now. David Wells will come on right now if you ask him. I'm not certain about Roger Clemens. I will tell you he's staying in my hotel.
The Rocket.
I saw Trey Wingo, by the way.
Wow.
And that's what Tahoe Week is all about.
It's a who's who.
It is a who's who. So the players went off on a scramble this morning. Hopefully we'll get some players as they come off the course. Some guys stroll in, later on Tuesday. A lot of guys, Dwight Freeney, my friend, strolling in on Wednesday here. But I'm excited, Taylor, because it's a great venue. Have you ever been to Lake Tahoe?
Never.
It's spectacular, right?
Yes.
I already have. By the way, my phone's too hot. It doesn't work. I mean, we are broadcasting from the sun. I'm serious. Oh, here comes Wells again.
Wow.
This is what it's all about. My phone's too hot. I can't tell. Someone's texting me like nonstop. I think it's Trey. I think Trey was texting me.
My flight was such a disaster yesterday.
Yeah.
Where I'm sitting on the tarmac for 3 hours delayed. I was all ready to complain. And then you get here and you see everything that looks like it's straight out of a postcard.
Yeah.
And all your worries kind of go away.
I got to tell you, if you travel to Lake Tahoe, and you should because it's worth it. But if you travel from the Southeast, specifically where we're from, Miami, South Florida, it is an investment to get out here, both in money and your time and your patience and your will, just to get out here. I traveled for like 11 hours, but you're right. Once you get here, you're like, oh,
yes,
this is heaven. It's fantastic. I just don't want to leave.
Yes.
Because you don't want to make the trek back home. You just want to stay here. And really, there's no reason to leave. I've been trying to get my wife to move out here for 7 years. 7 years.
When you get out here, nobody can tell you anything.
No.
Especially you. You've been here, you've been there. I'm trying to check into the hotel. They're like, hey, there's no card on file. I said, okay, that was... Could have seen that one coming a mile away.
Well, I paid for your hotel. What do you mean?
They said there was no card on file.
I put my card on the file.
This is a he said, she said right now. And what I'm telling you, she said at the register is there's no card on file.
And what I'm telling you is she is a liar.
You think she double charged you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I'm not worried. Yes. Did you pay cash?
No, card.
David Wells back on the range, done with his short game. Look at him.
Boomer.
He's lost some weight, Boom.
He looks great.
I don't know what I'm going to do with you all week, man. Because you're like, listen, I have to pay for your travel now. Taylor, let me just tell you. Let me say this. What's up, Boomer? How are you, buddy?
Let's go Yankees.
He's a big Yankee fan, Boom. All right.
He loves that.
Boomer hates baseball. I mean, he does. He told us that.
He's going on with KC Radio.
Talk some Royals.
Preview Pirates Royals tonight.
That's where we fucked up. We're sitting here talking about us. And if we were talking Royals baseball, we would have got David Wells. But we're not.
Because I don't think he ever played on the Royals, though.
But why would we talk Royals baseball? And why would anyone talk Royals baseball? I don't care if you're in Kansas City. Are the Royals even good?
They're struggling this year. The entire AL Central outside of the Tigers is struggling this year.
So why would you tease the audience by saying, coming up next, talk Royals baseball?
Seth Lugo on the bump tonight.
Listen, here's a recipe for me, if I'm in my car, to turn you off. Okay? And the recipe is, and there's only one ingredient, and that ingredient is Royals baseball.
Bobby Witt? Bobby Witt doesn't excite you?
I will find a fucking FM channel so quickly. Bobby Witt.
Salvador Perez.
Salvador Perez is still a Royal?
Yes. They came in with some great expectations this year, and they've just been kind of letting everybody down in Kansas City. I've overheard a couple of their conversations so far.
So here we are talking Royals baseball. I'm going to turn you off.
Jack Caglione, they brought him up this Cags.
Tahoe week. Great. Dan Patrick has a set that's the size of a house. Like it's absurd, man. Holy shit. Taylor, who are we hoping to get on here? Because so you asked me my dream guest list, right? There's so many great celebrities. It's not just Josh Allen, although I want Josh Allen on. I would want Patrick Mahomes on. I would want
Travis Kelce.
We're not going to get Travis Kelce. Well,
I thought you have a connection with Travis.
I do have a connection with Travis Kelce.
How tight is the connection? Because
it's tight enough where he'll text back. He just whether he'll come back, whether he'll come on or not, I don't know.
But when you guys first met, you guys were kind of here. He was here, and then ever since that, he started dating Taylor Swift. He's a Super Bowl champion, and he's kind of blowing up. You don't think he's forgotten about you?
So what's happened to? No, I do not think that he's forgotten about me. The relationship that he has, just so we're clear, is a relationship that he has with my daughter. And I am just a part of it by extension, you know, because they work out together. They have the same trainer in South Florida. And so that's where the relationship is. But Travis Kelce went from where he was, which was still a major celebrity, major superstar, one of the best tight ends in football, and he crossed over and he ascended and he went to a different stratosphere, a different place. And we all stayed right here. Okay? So, like, yeah, I'm certain there are some people that used to be in his life that he used to communicate with on a daily basis or a regular basis that he no longer does because he's ascended to this ridiculous place of celebrity. But Travis, listen, I can tell you this. If my daughter shoots him a text, he'll respond right now.
Wow.
Like, he's good like that.
You don't want to forget where you came from either.
No. You know. I mean, but it's hard not to when you're dating Taylor Swift.
When you ascend into A-list celebrity tier.
So I'm wondering if Taylor's going to be here.
Wow.
Well, because she was at Tight End University.
And she performed.
And I am telling you, there is a party right behind us where we're broadcasting that you have to leave you cannot bring your cell phone in, okay? Because it's a karaoke party. The night before the tournament starts. I think it's Thursday night. And it's shut off to the public. It's shut off to the media. I'll see if I can get you in, Taylor. And it's a karaoke party, and they let loose. So they don't want anyone seeing it, and it's cool. That's fine. That's part of it, right? The celebrities come out here because they don't want to be bothered. That's why there's so few radio stations and media outlets out here, because they simply don't want to be bothered, right? But there is a karaoke party the night before. It's outside on the lawn here. Have you seen what they're setting up there?
Yes.
Big stage and everything. Taylor Swift.
That would be.
That
would bring the place down.
If I told you we could only have Taylor Swift on this week, but no other guest, would you take it?
I think it's a fair trade-off.
I would do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would do it. I would. If I told you you could only have Josh Allen on, but no other guest, would you take it?
I would take that too.
Really?
Yeah.
So no Wells.
It would be a tough trade-off.
No Trey Wingo. No Rose or Nose.
But Chris Harrison. Actually, I'm not taking any of those trades because I've started to prepare for if Chris Harrison comes on with a little game of Rose or Nose.
Yes.
And I feel like I've put in so much work at this point that I don't want to drop it off at the 10-yard line. Like we're inside the red zone. I saw him before.
Right.
The initial connection has been made.
Yes.
So I think it's attainable. But you mentioned who else would be on your dream guest list. I've been working on, so you know how you have Mount Rushmores and your top 5?
Yeah.
I'm working on a playoff my last name VIP list, the VIP list.
Ooh, I like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was the first part. As long as you liked it, then we get to the next step. So my VIP list was Roger Clemens, David Wells.
This is your VIP list.
Of guest I'm most excited to see in Tahoe.
Okay.
Roger Clemens, David Wells, Gary Sheffield. We already mentioned those 3.
Yes.
Josh Allen.
Right.
Mike Vrabel. Would love to talk football with Mike Vrabel.
You heard he met Mike Vrabel.
Yeah, but now, again, we set the tone for
Got
Mike
it.
Vrabel.
Okay.
And then the last one, a Carolina guy, Vince Carter.
Vipalist.
Vinsanity.
Jesus Christ. I mean, here's the problem with having Taylor here. He's going to go after Vince Carter and not going to go after fucking Josh Allen. Like, this is for Taylor. It's not for me. He's not going to get the guest that I want. He's going to get the guest that he wants. Vipalist.
The Vipalist. You've been stuck on that ever since
I like
you
it.
love it.
I'm upset. I'm jealous. I'm jealous. I didn't think of it. I want a Vipalist.
The one guest I would say I want for you specifically with you in mind.
Yeah.
I saw him on the list.
Aaron Rodgers?
No.
Who?
Not Jake Owen either.
I want Jake Owen, though.
The guest, Joe Mauer.
Oh, wow.
I want to see, because I know how you act, where if you saw Joe Mauer, you would roll over and most likely let him pet your belly, say, like, you're the greatest catcher ever. But I want to see if you do have the courage to be like, hey, not a first ballot Hall of Famer, and kind of stand on it.
So the only way that's going to happen is if you get Joe Mauer on the show.
Yes.
Okay? And just so we're clear, and I'll tell the audience this in advance, when we do have Joe Mauer on, I will say, what do you make of guys like Taylor who think you're not a first ballot Hall of Famer? Huh?
He never beat the Yankees in the playoffs.
I'm not even certain he was the best player on his own team. Michael Kadire. I mean, he had some years.
The M in Michael Kadire stands for the moment he had.
The one moment. I want to talk about your flight as well. But coming up next, we talk Royals baseball.